Welcome to the Bitcoin Podcast. Today is April 8th, 2011, and this episode is brought to you by Witcoin.com. Get with it. Today is a special day in America's history. The Civil War began today 150 years ago, a war between preserving America's Union and the Confederacy's support of states' rights. Of course, there was the issue of slavery slipped in there, but the main cause the Confederacy wished to support indirectly was allowing competition on a state level, political competition through all the states in our union. And when you have political competition, more things are tried, more things are experimented with, and people choose what they condone through true market competition. And Bitcoin is very similar to this. Bitcoin will begin to allow choice on a currency level. Soon, there will be other blockchains other than the original Bitcoins, and we'll be able to choose what currency we want to manage our assets in. That's one relation we can make to the Civil War. Also, before the Civil War, we had private currencies among the states, but that was eventually rid of by the federal government in favor of one currency for one nation. In other news, the real Plato. He is, this weekend, this Saturday, tomorrow, he's going to be his Bitcoin trip from Connecticut to the West Coast. On his way through our nation, he will be evangelizing the Bitcoin currency and making all his purchases of food, fuel, etc. in Bitcoin. Well, at least he will try to. Wish him luck, and check him out at therealplato.com. Also on the forums, Kiba has announced that he plans to make a real-time strategy game for a large bounty of 1,200 BTC. According to him, you'll be able to pit colonies of cells against each other through various tools and techniques. He has raised 200 BTC so far. Check his game out, and if you would like to see it happen, donate some. He has rewards according to how much you donate. I personally have begun to sell Bitcoin bonds on the Bidding Pawn auction site with inspiration from Grandulu. He's another member on the forum. I believe he sold a 120 BTC bond, and I need a couple of loans myself for a little testing of investments and other things. And so I thought, hey, let's get some bonds out there, help my reputation, and have some Bitcoins to play with. Of course, at no expense to the lenders. I plan to pay them back in full, even if I end up losing some. And it's working out pretty good so far. My 97 BTC bond has been bid up to 95 BTC, except I made the terrible mistake of having the minimum bid set to default. It was too high, so the auction could only go so far. However, the potential for Bitcoin bonds is very interesting. It's a very formal way of lending to people, and I hope to see more of it in the future, instead of people just asking for flat-out trust loans. Basically, how a bond works is that you say, okay, 100 Bitcoin bond. On this bond is a coupon that will allow you to get 100 Bitcoins at a certain day in the future, where, let's say, April 12th. So you turn a coupon in and you get 100 Bitcoins. The thing is, the face value, you may have purchased it for only 90 Bitcoins. So wait a couple of days and you get 10 Bitcoins. It varies depending on the date and the demand for said bonds. I believe if you catch it in time, within 2 days of this podcast making, you can view them on biddingpawn.com, and they're all on the front page. My 97 BTC bonds and my 117 BTC bond that's for sale. Again, the minimum bids are a little screwy, so it's only going to go so high. In other news, well, it's another project I wish to start. It was an idea. Some guys were talking about a Bitcoin religion in the internet relay chat, and the ideas of sovereign currency went through my head. And I thought, what about a Bitcoin nation? A Bitcoin micronation? Sure, there'll be no sovereign land, but I like to think of the internet as a sovereign entity. The government really has no entrance into it, and we can conduct affairs on it through our own whims. So why not start our own little segment in the internet and call ourselves Bitcoin citizens? Announce Bitcoin as our sovereign currency, and come out with some sovereign rules of trade that are pretty broad, but most people can agree with, say, the right to life, the right to property, well, not right to tangible, scarce property, I like to say. I don't know, we need to write out a good constitution. I'll have a thread or something up to where we can begin writing that, and we can make our own flag and just do it for fun, you know? So that's an idea for a project that may start soon, a Bitcoin micronation. I believe that's it for today's podcast. I would also like to give a special mention to Even R. He's also sponsoring this podcast. Give a shout out to him. Goodbye.